The closest I ever came to a backup plan was to be a UFO investigator. I found out that actually being a musician is even more realistic than that, even though you might not think so. I spent the first 4 years of my life pretty sure I was going to be a garbage truck driver. But then my dad got the Beatles on CD. I remember pretty clearly hearing Rubber Soul for the first time, and it just kind of bowled me over. From then on, music was kind of all I really cared about. I was always banging on things, banging on my desk at school, bringing bongos to school, and telling the teacher close the door because these babies are loud. I had already been fancying myself a drummer, even though Ringo was pretty much the only drummer I had listened to much up to that point. In the 5th grade, there was a school project, and I asked one of my classmates, Patrick Mulcahy, if he would like to do a song with me. And that just kind of sparked a 20-year relationship with Patrick, both personally and musically. From there, we went through various bands together up through high school, and then we ended up going to college together. And shortly after I graduated, we got District 97 together, also with our friend Rob Clearfield. We got a guitar player, Sam Cron. Shortly before all this, one of our classmates, Wesley Hunt, had been on American Idol, and she had made it to the top 20. And I just thought that she had a certain depth to her voice that I thought it could work over heavier music. I thought that there was something there that could be harnessed for what I wanted to do. So I asked her, is this something you would ever consider wanting to be a part of? And she was really enthusiastic about it. Shortly after she joined, we ended up changing guitarists to the current guy, Jim Tastian. We went into the studio for the first time, and that became our debut release, Hybrid Child.
Pack it with newspaper and tape it and throw it away. Track the demand, willingly supply, gladly obey.
It was received really well, and we ended up going on our first tour. So we were pretty well spurned on by all that, and we wrote a lot more music. For the second one, Trouble with Machines, I wrote several more songs, and some of the other guys brought in music. And that was a really fun album to make. Everybody was kind of really pumped up about the reception we were getting. And we also ended up having a really legendary musician, John Wetton, join us for a track on that album, which I wrote called The Perfect Young Man.
She came here alone and nobody knows she's here. She's so young, innocent, perfect every way.
He is a former member of King Crimson. Yeah, it was kind of a dream come true to work with him and to play drums behind a voice like that. Concurrently through all this, we had been writing more music and rehearsing it. We eventually had enough that we were ready to enter the studio again. I kind of engineered our first crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter to fund the recording of our third album, In Vaults, which we released in June of 2015. Our fans put forth over $20,000. That meant a lot to me, and I think we did them proud. Leads us to where we are right now. We couldn't tour right after that came out because Leslie just had a baby, so we had to give her some time to do that. And also there are going to be some lineup changes. Both our keyboard player and bass player have left the group, so there's a bit of a retooling period that has to happen here. Trying to keep a rock band together in 2015 when the infrastructure that used to support this sort of endeavor just isn't really there anymore. Record sales are a fraction of what they used to be. Money is often a motivating factor to keep people together and keep everybody on the same page, and when you remove that, you know, people have to really, really want to be doing it. I'm looking forward to exploring the music with some new people. We have a new bass player who's fantastic, named Tim Sizer. And the keyboard spot we're still sorting out, but should have that figured out this month. The band really has to be done in everybody's spare time because we have to make our money doing other things. Like, I work at Columbia College in the dance department there, and the Hyde Park School of Dance, the Academy of Movement and Music in Oak Park, Dodos Dance Chicago, which is a professional company, and the Chicago Academy for the Arts High School. You kind of have to squeeze this in, and it's a pretty ambitious project to be just squeezing in between other commitments. Some of the members have families. You know, Leslie was a single mom for a long time, so we had to be working around that. My definition of success has definitely changed quite a bit. You know, I grew up watching MTV and VH1 and seeing all these cool music videos and, you know, realizing these people were making a ton of money and having big houses and all that goes with that. So I figured, oh, well, clearly that's going to be what I do. But I didn't really realize that by the time I came of age that that kind of thing was all going to be replaced by reality TV. My definition of success now isn't really, you know, how many records we sell or how much money we make. It's really how happy I am with the music and what kind of effect it's having on people. Is it, you know, putting out something positive into the world? I've gotten some really amazing feedback from our fans. You know, I mentioned the Kickstarter thing, but also just, you know, I get a ton of emails and Facebook messages and comments where people talk about just how much they love the music and how much it means to them. That, to me, is making it at this point, you know. Just putting something out there that I can be proud of and that others are enjoying as well. It's kind of just about, you know, taking opportunities, and they might not necessarily work out how you thought they would, but they can lead somewhere else that's just as or perhaps more rewarding. I mentioned UFO investigator, and that could, that could still be, you know, my post-retirement career or something.